you. And my number one on my list today, good morning, Princess Adetutu. My cousin Yinka, good morning to you. Good morning. Tony Babs, good morning. BC Olajoju, good morning. Feyikemi, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody, for coming on one by one. Good morning. It's a serious program. It's enlightening for those who need the education. It is a good one, and it's a good news. But as you can see, the time I put my notice out there on my profile, it basically means that I don't sleep, because news comes in, I grab it straight away. The email that came in about 2 o'clock this morning was directly from the Secretary of State for the Home Department in the United Kingdom, Mrs. Hamberod. And I am privileged to be on those lists of those who received the email this very early hour of our time in the United Kingdom. And as I've promised you, whenever I receive such information that is privity, I will definitely let you have it on my wall. That is the speciality there. Those who are on my chat line are special to me. Please share it and let others have it as well. Thank you so much for your support at all time. But I cannot but let you know that I have the email very early this morning. I have other things to do, but I just decided to, please, first of all, dish it out to the public before I move into my daily work that I'm assigned to do. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you. You will agree with me that we had referendum in the United Kingdom, on the 29th of June 2016, I think, and we're still on it. We haven't come out, as to vote out, to leave European Union rather. Let's be focused. To leave European Union. Good morning, Faith Adiola Rogers. Good morning, Mr. Azan. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Azan. Good morning, Mrs. Waslat Adone. Good morning to you. Everyone, good morning. We're talking about the European Union rights in the United Kingdom. The agreement has been reached overnight. Look at the topic. Look at what is on the front chart, and please share it quickly, because I don't want people to call me back unless you are coming for advice in the office. I will not talk about this with anybody on one-to-one, and that is why I want to discuss it now at large with public. I am not going to be answering phone call after when I've left chat line. I will be dealing with other topic entirely next time, not on the same topic again. So if anyone wants to hear this now, let them hear it now. Please share it. Good morning, Mr. Azan Linga. Yes, thank you, Princess. Please share it and let people have it now. Agreement has been reached as to the rights of the European Union citizens living in the United Kingdom with regards to the Brexit deal. So the email came in this morning about 2 a.m. and I think relatively from that time on, I put it out on my page to let people know that I'll be coming out at 9:30 this morning to shed light on those rights of the European Union citizens. But before I go into that right on the Brexit deal, let's quickly go over the rights they have before the deal. Let's go over the rights they have before the deal. That is the only way we can. I don't know whether it's internet or whatever it's called, but I don't think it should be. So I want us to look at the rights that the European Union citizens have in the UK before the Brexit deal or referendum came into being, and that will remind us straight away there is no need to look into books. They are off-ed inside this. If you are a European Union citizen, what you will need to be aware of is that you have right to sponsor your family member as long as you are working and exercising treaty right in the UK. Work means exercise of treaty right in the United Kingdom. So after 3 months that you have entered UK, you have to show that you are exercising that right by working and paying your dues to the government of the United Kingdom. If you are doing that, then you would have that right to sponsor your wife, a child of yours, even if it's 21 years old. You will have right to sponsor that child from overseas. You will have right to sponsor your parents, and you will even have right to sponsor your siblings if you are a European citizen and you are working in the United Kingdom. Now, the right of non-European Union family member still is that I want to remind you that the EU person that is working in the UK, that's right, they will be able to sponsor their family member to come and live with them. But there are some things you will have to show during that process to show that, oh yes, you are qualified to sponsor your family member. The most important part of it is that you have to be working and live in the United Kingdom and pay your taxes. Because if you are checked and taxes have not been paid or are not you're not paying them, then you will not be able to sponsor. So for those who are doing self-employment and claiming that, oh, I am self-employed, even if I'm the Secretary of State agent, the case workers, I will fail some of you. Many of you will fail it because your self-assessments are not properly done. They're not properly put together. Over the past 5 years, you should be able to show what you have been doing, receipt and invoices, including the company name registered with the bank, so that you have your company name with the bank. So the bank you are using will be under your company. If you don't do that and you are using individual account, that is fair enough. But the receipt and registration of your company must be there clearly, and you must be paying your taxes to the government of the United Kingdom for you to have that that right, to assess that right in the UK. And if you don't do that on self-assessment, you are going to fail. Now, somebody who is a European Union citizen that is not working but a full-time student will be able to sponsor only his or her child or husband or wife. You cannot sponsor partner if you are not working and you are a full-time student. You can only sponsor somebody who is working and who is a wife that you are married to or a husband that married to you. So you cannot sponsor somebody other than those people if you are a full-time student from the European Union. Now, when we are now talking of the relatively new things that are coming into being, what you have to be aware of is that if you are holding a European passport and all of a sudden you deviate to go and apply for British passport, you have lost your European Union right. And quote me right now, you will only be seen under British law and you will be assessed under immigration rules because you are now holding British passport. So like I have said to many people, you have to really decide. If you want to have both of them, you will not be able to sponsor relative anymore unless the government, unless there is an oversight somewhere and it's not recorded that you have been or you have applied for a European passport. But if it's recorded that you have applied for British passport and you are holding European passport at the same time, you are going to be assessed under immigration rules, not under European Union law. So you need to get that right. And you will not be able to sponsor your relative or dependent family under EU passport any longer. So that is clear now. Now, for those who are getting married and divorced their partner because of relationship is not going ahead properly, the law is pretty straightforward. On the system, it's saying that you must show that you have married to your wife or your husband for 3 years and you have lived together in the United Kingdom for 1 year before you can now be able to say that you want to have a retained right of residence. A retained right of residence, you can claim it under 5 years. You can claim it on a permanent residence, but you got to really show that you have met the rules. Now, the difficulties there are that if you divorce your European person, you have to show that European person is working to the last minute. That's one. Secondly, you have to show that the European person is still in the United Kingdom at the time of divorce and at the time you are making that application for you to have that retained right of residence. Now, if you don't have all those things in place, it's going to be difficult. You will not be able to have that retained right of residence. A lot of people want to claim retained right of residence because relationship is not working anymore, marriage is not going smoothly, and as a result of that, they divorce If you divorce your marriage, that is fine. It's not working anymore, that's fine. But the problem is that you need to show that your European person is still in the United Kingdom as of the date the decree absolute was issued. And as of the date you are making your application to the Secretary of State, the person must be working. How do you know? How would you know? You will need to contact the HM Revenue and Customs, that is the Her Majesty Revenue and Customs in the United Kingdom, and ask for schedule of employment, schedule of work history. So you have to contact the HM Revenue in the United Kingdom. That is Her Majesty Revenue. That's the department that deal with all taxes for every one of us in the United Kingdom. So you will have to have fast relationship with them. Contact them and say, hold on a minute, can I have history of my ex-husband work history? Can I have history on my ex-wife employment? By giving them his or her national insurance number and date of birth, you are entitled to have the schedule, because you have lived together in harmony before you separated. So you are entitled to have that. So once the government have given you that, then the opportunity for you to excel in your application for a permanent residence is getting closer. A lot of people submit application to the Secretary of State and say that they are waiting for the decree absolute. You will not succeed in that respect, because marriage is not dissolved until decree absolute is pronounced, is issued. So if you make application to the family court that you want to dissolve your marriage, and all of a sudden you can decide to change that, you have sought out the differences, you don't want to proceed. I have 2 cases in my office that the lady came to my office and said, listen, I want to divorce my husband. I don't want him to get the indefinite leave to remain. I want to quickly do this. I canceled her. She said no, she wants to proceed with the application. I started the application. All of a sudden, at the back of my head, they called me and said, listen, stand still and don't proceed with the application anymore. We have sought our differences out. Do you see that? But the problem is that she lost money, I gained, because I've already collected my fee from her. So it's nothing to do with me anymore. So in a situation like that, marriage is not dissolved until decree absolute is issued. So anyone that is submitting an application to the Secretary of State for the Home Department in the United Kingdom, you must be aware and be at alert to note that you cannot tell the agents, the case workers, that decree absolute to follow. I want a retained right of residence. You cannot achieve a retained right of residence until decree absolute is issued. So if you're thinking in that manner, application needs to put in ahead before your time is due to submit it to the Secretary of State. You need to submit for the application way ahead. So the law is pretty clear on that. If you don't do that, you will not be able to get what you want in that respect, because marriage will not be counted as being dissolved if there is no decree absolute. Decree nisi does not pronounce marriage dissolved. Does not say that's the end. Thank you, Bimbo. Do you understand? So we really need to understand how it works, so that we don't mix two things together. You're making an application for a retained right of residence. A retained right of residence means that you have lived with your European Union spouse for certain years. So you are qualified and you have married to it. Now, the problem and the danger with those who live with them that doesn't have marriage certificate is that you will not have a retained right of residence if the relationship crumble. You will not have a retained right of residence if that relationship crumble. So I really want people to understand this. You will not have that retained right of residence because there is no marriage certificate. The importance of marriage certificate in most situations, most cases, is that it allows you to have right to certain things in relationship that comes to an end. It allows you to lay your hand on properties. It allows you to have a say on that person's life, because you have been together for certain years. You have contributed, you have paid your dues, you have suffered for him or her. So the whole idea is that the end of the divorce doesn't mean that that's the end of your journey. It means that you can have rights to some things. And that is exactly what the European Union agreement put in place previously. Nothing to do with referendum. I have not come to Brexit deal. I am talking about the old law that we have in place, just to recap and to remind you what are your rights. So now, for you to have a permanent residence in the United Kingdom, you have to show that you have lived in the UK for 5 years. And living in the UK not for fun, because it is we women that went to court and said that pregnancy is not sickness. So as a result of that, you cannot use it in another way. If you're not working at the time that you're supposed to show that you are working, that is your take. You must be able to show that you are working consecutively throughout your 5 years in the UK. You only allow 6 months out. So if you go on maternity leave more than 6 months, then you have to blame yourself. Because I have been in many cases and I've involved in many cases that the judge are not accepting anything outside 6 months. I said, no, I'm not taking that. Pregnancy is not sickness. And as a woman, I absolutely agree with that judge and said, listen, you were right. Because we are the one that took the case to court on EMO Airweb case. When a EMO cargo case, when a pregnant woman said that the employed lawyer company discriminates against her because of her pregnancy, case went to court on employment law. Those who practice employment law will remember EMO cargo, air cargo case law. You know, there is no way you can do employment law without knowing that case law. A lot of people will remember it. So we women took that case to court against employer to say, listen, pregnancy is not sickness, so you cannot discriminate against us. We want to work in every area that men are working. It's not possible. So at the end of the day, when it now comes to the issue of European Union and women are now saying that they are taking leave outside 6 months, government is not accepting that. 6 months is the cutoff for everybody that want to exercise treaty rights under their EU family member. Anything outside 6 months, you will not be able to do it. You will lose it. So you will have to go and apply for further 5 years instead of losing it completely. So don't push luck too much. If you know that you have lost that period and you cannot get your 5 years in place, what you have to do is to completely pull yourself out and apply for another 5 years to calculate your consecutive 5 years before you go in for your permanent residence. If you can do that, then there will be no problem. Now, the situation we have now is now the same thing. You will remember that we are Brexit and Brexit and Brexit. So we are now out of Europe. We are coming out. But some of the deals have been reached because of the noise going on. We need to reach deal because it's like the wall we are now is not solid enough. So we are in a kind of a situation whereby we don't even know where we are heading to. We don't even know our rights. And bear it in mind, whatever we do to the European Union citizen living in the United Kingdom is what other European counterparts will do to us that are holding British passport when we travel into their country, Germany, Spain. And if to recap it again, you will remember that we have these countries in Europe. So don't forget them. Austria is in Europe. Belgium is in Europe. Croatia is in Europe. Cyprus, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. Those are the countries that are in the EA authority, EA zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. We have 32 countries inside EA zone. We have 32 countries. And you will agree with me, 32 countries means that United Kingdom is part of them. Now, as United Kingdom is coming out, it means that we are going to be one shot. Give me a minute. So the situation, I beg your pardon, the situation here is that United Kingdom is coming out. So we are going to be left with 31 countries. And remember, as a British passport holders, we can travel to any of those countries at any time. So if care is not taken, and we're not taking proper care of the EU citizen in the UK, we are going to suffer the same problem over there. And remember, many of our British citizens have wife and husband from another country, and they want to exercise treaty rights in those countries at any time. So care must be taken. Now, what the Secretary of State is now saying as part of the deal and agreement that has been reached is that, listen carefully to the agreement now. The Secretary of State said, I am proud that so many EU citizens like yourself have built their home in the United Kingdom. They have value contribution, which is why the government put them as priority in the Brexit negotiations. Now, Secretary of State is saying that she's absolutely delighted that she has now reached an agreement with the EU that deals with this. And she knows that at times, let me read it out the way it's written. I know that at times you have had an anxious wait while the fine details were ironed out, but we wanted to get it right, and we have always had you at the forefront of our thought. She's talking to the European Union in the UK. We have always said that we will continue to recognize the value you bring to our society, and that we will remain an open and diverse country. Hopefully, these deeds provide the assurance that we will do just that. The agreement we have reached ensures that the agreement they have reached ensures that the rights of you, EU citizen, and your family currently have remained broadly the same with access to healthcare. So, EU citizen in the UK, your right has not been taken away. You will now have access, continued access to healthcare, to benefits and pensions protected. So your right will not be tampered with. It will not be taken away. You will continue to have that right, access to healthcare, to benefits, every benefit that you're entitled to, and pensions protected. So you will not be affected, and your existing close family members living outside UK, they will retain the right to join you in future. So if you have family member outside United Kingdom, they will have that opportunity to come and join you in the United Kingdom as a family member, regardless of whether we Brexit or we don't Brexit. The deal has been reached. So I want to reassure you that the Secretary of State has put it clear here that all the European Union citizens in the United Kingdom, your right remain broadly the same. It has not been taken away. Quoted from the Secretary of State, Mrs. Amber Royd, for the United Kingdom. So this right, so what it means that this right will be cemented in UK law. So it's coming inside UK law. It's coming inside UK law. You know, when we are out, you will not be able to say, I have this right under Regulation 10.5 anymore, Regulation 15.1 anymore, because the regulations will be taken off, but it will be cemented, it will be implemented, it will be interpreted under domestic law. But that right will be there for you. It will be there for you. It will not be taken away from you. Meaning, you can live your life as you do now with the security of knowing that they won't change. So the life you are living at the moment before we finish and finalize things is still the same, and you can continue to live the same life. It will not be changed. Do you understand? Now, for the Irish citizen in the United Kingdom, the Irish, because I receive phone calls from the Irish all the time and asking me, what about my right as an Irish citizen? I am quoting straight away from the Secretary of State to you guys. So I am not, take it easy, okay? So these rights will be cemented in law. We've said about that. Irish citizens also have their existing right associated with the Common Travel Area Arrangement protected. So all the Irish citizens coming to the United Kingdom as ever before, the same right you have is still in place. It has not been taken away from you. So away from the negotiation now, there are other things now that the government is doing and putting in place. So to recap what I have said before, your right as EU citizen has not been taken away. It broadly remains the same. You will continue to have the same right. You will continue to have the same right. Don't panic. You can bring family member in as long as you meet the requirements. The issue of the EU implementation, the law will come under domestic law. It will be implemented inside domestic law. It's not coming under Regulation 10.15 or Regulation 15.1, Regulation 8.7 or Regulation 7 anymore. Because as soon as we completed our negotiation and we finalize the divorce document and we pay all the debts that we need to pay or reach agreement on how we are going to pay the debts we are owing the European Union, we are coming out. So not to come out is to mess up the democracy. We are coming out. Not to come out is to mess up the democracy and to mess up the country and to create chaos in the country. We're not looking forward to that. What we're looking forward to, and to respect democracy, is that majority have spoken, whether it's by 2 above the those who want to remain, or 3 above them, it doesn't matter. They have taken the chance to be the majority in this situation, so they have spoken, and the spoken is that we have to respect democracy. We are coming out of EU as soon as they finalize things by 2019. Before then, the government is saying that do not panic. Your right will continue to be in place as a European citizen living in the UK, but that law will be transposed into domestic law. It's going to be transposed into domestic law, and it will be cemented inside it. So, quoting as lawyer, we will be using domestic law to assist EU citizens in the UK. Halfway through next year, the government is saying categorically that they will implement a kind of a card electronic system whereby every EU citizen must have that card to show that they are residents in the United Kingdom for them to be entitled to this opportunity. No one will just come and claim welfare benefits, because that is the whole idea of coming out of EU, so that we can make sure that our bucket remains intact. It's not for Dick and Harry taking it out. So that's the whole idea. So if you're EU citizen, please pass it on to other EU friends. If you're a British citizen and UK resident, pass it to your EU friends, that the law remain the same broadly, and their rights will not be taken away. That their rights will not be taken away from them. So remain calm. You have that right to bring in your family member for them to come and enjoy with you in the UK. All you have to do is to get advice, fulfill the requirements, and meet the law. Nothing will change. Everything remain intact. So be rest assured. We are not taken out of Europe. You're not going to be messed up as a EU citizen. Don't rush. Continue to work. Continue to contribute to the economy of the United Kingdom. And God bless all of you. Merry Christmas in advance. I have to go now. I love you guys.